You know, if you've experienced an outage recently in your cable, internet, or phone services, it could be because someone has cut into your utility pole in order to steal and sell copper wires. The telecommunications industry is asking Ottawa for harsher penalties for copper wire thieves, saying thefts like this have increased 200% every year since 2021. Every year. With us this morning is Eric Smith, Vice President of the Canadian Telecommunications Association. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, there is no specific federal data on copper wire theft, but the industry has reported an increase in the past few years. We showed some of that. Bell Canada, which is the owner of this network, says that since January 2022, 87% of attacks on infrastructure involve copper wire theft. Why is this happening so often?
Well, I think you can see a correlation between the increase in the price of copper. So we have criminals who are looking to scavenge and steal copper from different places, telecommunications networks, electrical utilities, construction sites, et cetera. And as you stated, we've seen a huge spike in the number of instances across the country.
Telecom companies are saying and taking the position that this is not a victimless crime. Can you explain how it affects people at large?
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, I think we've all experienced, unfortunately, some type of outage in our telecommunications, whether it's through a storm or power outage or what have you. And while it's inconvenient, it can also be a life and death manner. So when you think of telecommunications going out, that can affect your ability to connect to 911, to receive other critical services, can affect first responders communicating with one another. And then just think of the disruption to your community when these instances happen. Small businesses are impacted. They're unable to process financial transactions, communicate with their suppliers, et cetera. So we estimate that, an outage, some of the outages are costing millions of dollars in lost productivity and economic loss.
Right now, copper wire theft is treated as any other theft. It has a maximum of around 10 years in prison for theft over $5,000. And then there's a maximum of 2 years for theft under $5,000. But given the profit margins on copper, and as you said, given the increased value on copper, how would you like to see those changed?
Well, typically what we're seeing is if perpetrators are caught, they're typically charged with theft under $5,000. To give you, a comparison, that's the same as if someone stole a bicycle. The consequences of, stealing a bicycle versus bringing down internet for a community are obviously not the same. They have much dire circumstances, can be life and death circumstances. And so we're asking the government to look at the penalties associated with this, to create a special crime dealing with critical infrastructure that would cover or would carry with it more harsh penalties to create a greater deterrence, to communicate to criminal elements that these types of crimes will not be tolerated.
Eric, is this just in the hands of Ottawa in terms of legislative solutions, or could telecom companies also do things to increase their security measures around thefts?
Yeah, we already are. I mean, it's really all stakeholders need to be involved here. Our industry is spending millions of dollars in increasing security, using new technologies to help monitor networks, et cetera. But when you think of the thousands and thousands of kilometers of telecommunications cables that's strung across this country, you can't be everywhere at the same time. So the industry is doing its part. We're asking the communities, obviously citizens, to look out for suspicious behavior. Really, there's no need for people to be hanging around telecommunications infrastructure. If you see suspicious activity, call local law enforcement so they can investigate. At the provincial level, some provinces have brought in tighter laws around dealing with scrap metal dealers to increase the type of identification they require and how they actually transact with people who are selling scrap metal. And then at the federal level, I mean, as we said, we're looking for increased penalties. And if you look at it, we've seen, obviously, your network's covered a lot of the increase in car theft. And we see now a national project to combat car theft. And obviously, look, cars are a bigger ticket item, and they have impact on the community as well in terms of increased insurance premiums. But internet is vital. I mean, this government has brought in a telecommunications resiliency agenda, which has asked our industry to spend millions more making our networks more resilient. We need that type of national approach, all hands on deck approach to combat theft and vandalism against telecommunications networks as well.
Eric Smith, Vice President of the Canadian Telecommunications Association. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.